All right, everybody, this is Tree Show. This is based on a reference by Adair Payne, Adair Payne. I'll start with yellow down here on the bottom. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of white, tint, a little bit of black to make the green.
Should we have like a tree structure, like the brown and like trunk and stuff before?
That comes later.
Okay.
So right now, so see this little blob right over here? This is phase one. So what I'll do, I'll see if I can get the color to match. I'll get the green, kind of hazy, and you want like different values, different colors. I'll go a little bit darker. And when I do trees, the main thing is the top. So everyone recognizes like a good top of a tree. The rest of it, like down below here, you're probably okay. But up here though, I'll take a round brush, large round at first, and I'm kind of tapping it to get the right size of the tree that I want. And remember, it's not like straight. So I'm like, I have a big chunk up here, another little chunk. I'll have it come all the way down to here, so I can see it better. And this is kind of brown compared to that, but it doesn't really matter. I could add a little more green. I'll add a titch more green, but not too much. All right, then I'm going like really soft, so it's kind of like wet. So right now, this is like too solid up here. It's like an outline, so I'll take Mr. Stinky sponge and tap it out a little bit to blur it out so it's not quite as cartoon looking. Okay? And down here on the bottom, I can make that a little bit darker. So I'm gonna go green, make it a little more brown and black. Just about though, not a lot. A little more green on that one. And you keep changing color though, that's the key. So it's not like a color, it's like you want to mix it up quite a bit. So down here, a little more solid. Now I'll get a dot of yellow. Let's get changing color quite a bit. Outline going around that tree. Using the side of the brush, I'm like scumbling it. It's like this. Scumble, scumble, scumble. And scumble, scumble. Okay. And this is all phase one. I'll let the tree come down here a little bit further. Okay, now that I have that, so here's the big brush. I'm retired of the big brush now. Buy a big brush. Now I'm gonna come in almost the same color, but then I'll add in like some extra little leaves on the sides. That was not the same color. And little floaty leaves. If you had some of these little guys, you don't need that many of them for it to start looking good. Just a few of those little guys in there kind of floating around. And you couldn't even get crazier. Watch this leaf. Are you watching? Check this out. It's floating off of the tree. That's crazy right there. So you don't want to have all too obvious of leaves and stuff. So put the leaves on, take your finger, and blur them out. Otherwise it'll look like Paint by Numbers or a post-impressionist. This guy's just kind of silly. Okay. That's layer one right there. Now, so with layer one, we have some of the tree things. Now I'll kind of outline where the branches are going to go. Super skinny line, then I'll pass a little gap right here. It's going to go from loose to tight. Now trees grow toward the light, so even if it's on a hill, they're going to be going up more or less. I'll add some more branches. Then I always add more branches later. Ooh, that was a good branch. Then, to make it even more interesting, watch this. I'm going to go up here, add a branch that comes off the tree. Like it grew, but then the leaves died. Kind of sad, but that's okay. Random little guy over there. Kind of adorable. Okay. That's good enough for now. All right. Next phase. So see this darker patch down here at the bottom? That's what we do next. There's a lot of phases I'm learning. I don't know what phase I'm on. I think think I'm on phase 3. Where did my brush go? Okay. Don't have my round brush, but the show must go on, so I'm going to use a bright brush. If you use a bright brush because you don't have a round brush, generally the key is that you use a corner of it. So you don't want to use a side like this. It'll look, so if you use this, it looks like the side of the brush. However, if I come in here and scumble, like using this side of the brush, I can scumble it in there and it doesn't look like that anymore. Now add some black. Change the color. Even if you like the color, change the color. And these are like more like foreground kind of things. And a little more black right out. Down here at the base, you want it pretty dang dark. You can use black and raw umber to get like a nice dark base on this thing, so it looks like it goes in kind of deep. Good background for your foreground trees. And these don't have to look amazing or anything, as long as it's like good brush strokes. And by good, I mean like this. I'll show you. See the variety? You want that. No patterns. Like you don't want this. You know, then it all looks the same. You gotta like spin the brush as you paint, and that'll give you more like random patterns to it, which will look not random. Okay. Now I'll come in here, I'll add some more highlights to this so it's not all dark. And here, if I have a big lump right here to make that look like it comes out a little bit further, I'll come in here and then tap this out. A little more of a highlight action on there. Now I get the little foreground bush, more contrast, darker areas and lighter areas to make it look like it comes forward. Really far away trees, you wouldn't even have any dark values. Ooh, I should show you how to do that one. Not too soon. That'll be another magic show. Okay, so now you can kind of see that little bush in the front of that one. Pretty good. I'll do the same thing on this side. Come over here. And I'll have this one be behind that big light one, but in front of the medium one. And once again, this color doesn't really match the other ones, which is a good thing. You don't want to look like you have a giant container of paint, you know. Oh, here's my tree color, or my bush color. So now I'm getting a little more variety in there. And I'll come over here, mix up a little more paint. I'll get another color on this side. Maybe a little more brown. So I'm not mixing up individual colors. I'm kind of like, I'm just adding like a little dot of color into my brush. And darker still. Okay, so you kind of see the variety there. Now, I'll come in there. So this is kind of simple right here. Not a lot going on. So some of it's following your reference. Other parts is like looking at your painting and go like, what does this need? You know, I'm gonna go a little darker here. A little more of a patch. Tap it out, change the direction of the brush. I'll swing over here with the same color. Okay, so this is almost done. This part. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to the round brush. This is like semi-detail. So this is not like detail. This is, I call this kind of detail. That's a term we use in art school. Kind of detail. And here I'll do some, watch this, I'll do individual little chunks of leaves by a small brush. And my finger, gently tap it out so it doesn't look like a bunch of dots. Paint dots, and then get rid of the dots. Change color again, maybe a little darker, or brown, sure. Right now I'm at the dot phase. Now I'm in the blur phase. Now I'll do this on patches, but not the whole thing. And come down here on this side as well. And then tap. over here, and then tap. And I'll even go more. This is too simple over here, so I'll get a cluster. And another cluster on this side. So it's a huge variety of colors and approaches. Okay. Then, after you're done with that, so the next phase is to do realistic leaves. Those are, but you don't need that many of them. If you just put a few realistic leaves, people think, oh wow, that tree has a bunch of realistic leaves. Meanwhile, you're kind of laughing. You're going, no, there's like 10. It's called a leaf joke. And watch this. So with the realistic leaves, small round brush, melt the kitten, squish down, spin up a little bit. Squish down, spin up. And on the inside of the tree, I need contrast. So is it, are the leaves going to be lighter or darker? Right here, I'll do some lighter ones. These are more detailed, skinny, fat. Let's see that better if I zoom in more. And I'm coming in here, watch this. Plenty of water. I'll do a slow motion leaf. You ready? Here it goes. Skinny, squish down, turn the brush a little bit. Get like a nice little, I'll do a big, huge one here. Squish down, spin the brush, and it turns into a leaf. It'll go a little bit faster, but that's how to do it though. Then once you get the system down, you can start jamming on it and cranking them out. Then take your finger and blot them out so it doesn't look like you're supposed to be able to see every single leaf. It's kind of like the impressionist trick. Tap, blur. And over here, dark part, if I have some of those light ones overhanging, it'll look hella good. So watch this. Skinny. And the more contrast your leaves have, the better they should look. And they're drooping down. Skinny. Fat to skinny. Fat to skinny. Fat to skinny. And I'll like soften it up a little bit. A couple dots. And then finger, tap. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do the same thing on this side. Okay, so on this background, one over here, I don't need as many like clear ones. So this is in front. Needed more clear ones. We got those. Back here, I don't like this section. So if you have sections that look a little splotchy that you don't like that much, just leaf it. Queen, leaf it. Okay. And so this is done. That's like in stage 2 still. Okay? Then you can put your taller trees right in front of it. That look pretty good. But you need that like nice background so you don't have like a solid horizon line. And anyways, but that is the tree show.